Hello and welcome to the Seafoam Isles Draft League Season 1 First Impressions video. It's me, Colin, coach of the Pittsburgh Porygon-Z, with Noel in the Victory Road Draft League, which is the other league in FNF. You can find the playlist down in the description. But yeah, this is just the first impressions of all the teams here for all the coaches. And yeah, that's about all I have to say for this little bit.
Let's jump in. I'm just gonna be mostly a clown because I don't know that much about Nat decks, but this is gonna be a fun little analysis of each team. So I hope you enjoy it, and we'll start with the first team, which is going to be
Actias and the Opal Ascents is the first team.
Yes.
And yeah, I just want to say that I like the logo. That is like one of the best places in Gen 8. It's one of the coolest looking places, at least.
I agree. I haven't seen all of the Gen 8 towns, but of the ones I've seen, this is like absolutely my favorite. And when Actias told me to make a logo and mentioned that they really liked this town, I was kind of stoked, and I told them, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use this town because it looks really nice. So yeah, definitely cool.
It's probably what you look like when you're on drugs, but yeah,
maybe Leafeon's just tripping out. Who knows?
Yeah, it's in an unknown place.
All right, so
yeah.
Also another thing to mention, Actias is a newcomer to leagues in general, so not just to FNF, but to Draft League in general. So welcome, Actias. I hope that this is a good learning experience for you, and that you're able to enjoy and connect more with the community, learn more about competitive Pokemon. I think Actias is actually the only true newcomer. I think everybody else here actually has participated in a league of some sort.
Yeah. Maybe not Teal Platypus, otherwise.
Oh yeah, and
maybe
Platypus
everyone.
as well. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just looking straight at their team. It's got a lot of offense. The speed tiers look fine. Does Meteor get rocks?
I believe it does, actually.
Does Kecleon get rocks? Because otherwise,
Kecleon does.
Yeah, so it's Meteor, Kecleon, and Celebi. So yeah, that's a decent selection of rockers. Like, Meteor obviously wants to go on the offensive. But yeah, pretty good rockers, decent speed tiers, lots of offensive powerhouses. We got web support for maybe Dragalge and Aegislash, as well as Altaria, who really appreciates webs, and Hawlucha might also appreciate them, since it does not look like it has a terrain to activate Unburden on this team. Double fighting types. Pissimian's a gigantic threat. Like, I remember in Victory Road Season 1, that thing is a threat of a revenge killer. Then you got, Kecleon is a very interesting pick. I've seen it do a lot of work. But Aegislash and Mega Altaria are really the Pokemon that stand out because of Galvantula's sticky webs, notably. Because, like, I'm pretty sure the fastest Pokemon on this team is Galvantula, who's only base. No, it's Hawlucha. But yeah, Hawlucha. This team really appreciates webs, because Mega Altaria is a giant threat after just one Dragon Dance. I'm pretty sure it outspeeds majority of Scarfers. It's base 80, right? Base 80 or 85?
I think it's a little higher than 80. I could check now.
Because if it's 85, then it outspeeds, I'm pretty sure, Dragapult, which did get drafted.
Oh, it's 80 actually, yeah.
I don't think it outspeeds Dragapult at 80, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Mega Altaria is a giant threat after one DD and webs. Cause yeah, it just has so much attacking firepower. Aegislash, like, gets a lot faster after webs. If it's like max speed, it hits around 110, like base 110s if it's max speed, Jolly or whatever. Specs Hawlucha is not Hawlucha, Specs Aegislash is very, very difficult to switch into. Same with Altaria after Dragon Dance. Lots of good support Pokemon, as well as Adaptability, Nuke, Dragalge. Very, very good. I think that was a good pickup in Tier 4.
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out to me the most in this team is just how nice of a core Altaria and Aegislash form, not only offensively but defensively too. They can really switch into each other's problematic matchups. Altaria coming in on any problematic fire moves, for example, and dark moves, whereas Aegislash can come in on some of the steel type moves that threaten Altaria or poison. So that's like a really good core defensively as well as offensively. Like there's not a lot of lost pressure on this team. This team has a lot of really nice bulky offensive options. It has, like you said, the webs. And then on top of all of that, there's Manaphy and Celebi there waiting in the wings. They could do a lot too. There's a lot of versatility on this team because Altaria and Aegislash, they could go physical or special. Manaphy and Celebi, I mean, Celebi and Manaphy don't really go physical, but they have well-rounded stats. There's just a lot going on. I think this is a really decent team, and I'm excited to see how it does.
Yeah, Manaphy also, is Manaphy Z-Any? Because then I could run Z-Rain Dance.
Z-Any, yeah.
Z-Rain Dance Manaphy looks really, really scary on this team because Altaria resists both grass and electric.
Yeah,
so.
And yeah, I was gonna say and electric, but you said electric.
So yeah, this team is really, really scary. Great offense and actually pretty solid like bulk between Aegislash and all that. And Electros is actually like I would say like does this team a lot of good. It was really good for this team because it has no weaknesses and can switch in on pretty much any neutral hit because it has decent bulk. It would appreciate some wish support, which I don't believe this team has, so maybe that's a suggestion. But otherwise, this team looks really, really strong, and yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I agree. Really good team. So we're going to move on to the next team. This is the Second Swablus, led by Adi. And this is actually a logo that you did.
Yeah. I don't really have much to say. It's just two Swablus.
I really like the logo. I think you did a good job making her vision come to life.
I messed up. Like, look in the N. I forgot to fill that in with white. I messed up.
Oh no, I think that was actually my error when I was making it transparent, so you could blame me for that. Sorry about that.
It's fine. It doesn't really matter.
But anyways.
Yeah. Alright, so right away, I just noticed that Mega Mawile and Heatran are on the same team, and Heatran is the definitive best counter to Mega Mawile. So, that's kind of really scary already. Slowbro also eats hits for Mega Mawile. It looks like he just picked up a bunch of answers to Mega Mawile to make Mega Mawile more threatening, which is definitely a good strategy. And then the first three Pokemon, which are all really good defensively, all resist Ice, which his other offenses are weak to. So I do see, yeah, and then Heatran and Dragonite resist fire, so a really nice offensive core there.
Yeah, I think piggybacking on the Mega Mawile being a big threat, Slowbro and Mega Mawile work extremely nicely together, and we were talking about this and how threatening it is. The fact that Slowbro can teleport into Mega Mawile, and Mega Mawile could just go to town coming in after that safe switch in is that makes this team really scary. One of the things that make it really scary.
Yeah, I just realized the Trick Room mode on this team is strong. Like Mega Mawile teleports Slowbro, Trick Room goes into Snorlax or Mawile, wreck shop. Yeah, and then Thwacky for that nice grassy terrain support helps out Nidoking quite a lot, as well as Heatran and Mawile, with taking those ground hits that would hurt them really badly otherwise.
It could also help.
Superior looks like really fast offensive special threat for this team, which it really appreciates.
Yeah, it could. The grassy terrain also can help Hitmonlee with Unburden, which is really nice, and it's a little hidden gem in that team for sure.
Yeah, I think Nidoking and Serperior do really good supporting this pretty physical team. Like, it does a really good job with its mixed offenses. Dragonite just looks like one of the 3 sweepers on this team, and they're all really scary. Mega Mawile, really deadly. Snorlax, really deadly. Dragonite, Serperior, all really good setup threats. They could also just like run Grassy Seed because grassy terrain provides that recovery. So Serperior could appreciate maybe some grassy terrain with the boosts on the already pretty freaking strong Leaf Storms, just making them even stronger and making it even harder to stop once it gets going.
Yeah. I honestly think this team, this is a really impressive team. I like this team a lot. I think if I was in this league and I wanted to use one of the teams, this is probably the team that I would pick. So
yeah, this is a really strong team.
And then to round everything out, Comfey can be a great revenge killer for some problematic Pokemon. Fast Pokemon that might not want to get hit by a Specs Draining Kiss, for example. And then Gligar, also nice for hazard control. This team feels like it has just a lot.
I forgot to mention, like, I was watching the Roland replay the other day, and you're like, oh wow, Frostlass is really physical. And I was like, no, it's not. Oh wait, this is Gen 7. Frostlass, I'm pretty sure, picked up Poltergeist and Triple Axle in DLC.
Oh, interesting.
So now it's a really scary physical threat with Choice Band and stuff. So yeah, you could run. It's tough preparing for Frostlass because it has the same attacking stats. It's very threatening because Ghost Ice is really scary as an offensive typing.
Yeah, overall, just really incredible team. Kudos to Adi. She had mentioned, I think that she had mentioned that she was a newcomer, or she had participated in a league before, but she wasn't super confident in her ability in competitive battling. I forgot what she said. Something that indicated newcomer status, but this team, like, this is a very smart draft, so it definitely seems like she knows what she's doing.
This does not look like a newcomer team.
Yeah. So, yeah, kudos, Adi. I'm really looking forward to see this powerhouse of a team put some work in.
Yeah. We can move on to the next one. Very good team right here.
All right, we move on to Gruesome Grimmsnarls. This is a team that is led by Butter Taters, aka Butters, which we'll probably refer to him as. So yeah, what are your first thoughts for this team?
I like the logo. I don't know what Space has to do with Grimmsnarl being gruesome, but I'm sure there's a good reason.
I think with the Ultra Beast theme too, we just have like Grimmsnarl just came from space and it's ready to wreck stuff.
Well, I mean, if you look at this team, the Scream's offense is incredibly stupid. Because Barraskewda puts in so much work behind the screens that Grimmsnarl sets. Actually, like, everything does so much work behind these screens that Grimmsnarl sets. This is a rain team with Mega Blastoise, who did get Rapid Spin. And unlike Rapid Boost, Omni Boosting, I remembered to ban Shell Smash. So that's good. Otherwise, this Blastoise would just sweep every week. Corviknight is very defensive. It's not as strong in draft as it is on the ladder, but it's still pretty nice defensively. It does appreciate rain, however the 100% accurate thunders is like, ow. just a little bit. This Raichu gets Lightning Rod, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, that's the electric immunity that this team is looking for. It forms a really nice core with all the waters and
Rhyperior
types. Yeah. So that I remember, I was like, oh, I was looking at things that maybe might help this team out when it was like in the middle. I'm like, this team needs a ground type, and then I saw Rhyperior, and I'm like, that thing would be so good. Dusclops for Trick Room, or just maybe Fat. I don't know. Maybe if he just needs to slow down the pace of the game. He does have those 2 ghosts, which are pretty scary. Defensively, like, Sableye just burns stuff. Dusclops just burns stuff. If this team somehow isn't fast enough, it can just set Trick Room with Rhyperior and just go to town. Or, like, Iron Defense Corviknight and just spam Body Press.
This team, something that I personally want to see, I want to see if behind screens, perhaps Pinsir going for a sweep with Moxie. That would be really awesome to see.
I want to see that. Do it against me. Do it.
There's also, this is something I noticed. There's a lot of bugs on this team. There's 3, which is pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
Something that I think...
Durant. Oh.
Yeah, Araquanid, Durant, and Pinsir.
Durant really is like an amazing pick for this team. It benefits from rain. It benefits from screens. It has a great defensive typing, especially in rain. And then there's like there's Araquanid, who's basically a fire immunity, rain weakening fire, Pelipper switching into fire, Blastoise switching into fire. That thing is so scary under rain and screens.
This team, basically, don't bring your fire type versus this team, I think.
Yeah, and that lets Durant go to town.
Yeah. This is a really interesting team. There's also so many picks for like sweeping in the rain or wall breaking in the rain. Araquanid can hit incredibly hard. Barraskewda hits like a truck. There's just a lot going on. I think that maybe the hardest thing for this team hypothetically would be bulky grass types, but even then, if Durant's still alive, it could handle them. Pelipper can Hurricane, so there's answers. And Corviknight as well.
Corviknight's just insane. And Pinsir also resists grass. And probably just kills them.
Yeah, so this is a really nice team. I think Butters did a good job. I think he has used quite a few of these Pokemon before from
I see
some
a lot
teams.
of VGC picks.
Yeah, he's posted some of his VGC teams, and there are some picks that he's used in those teams. So these are Pokemon that he's familiar with their capabilities. I'm also curious to see what he does with Raichu, because Raichu has Z-Any and it has Celebrate. So will we see the Celebrate Raichu? I know you don't want to see it because you wanted to ban Omni boosts, but I'm down.
To put it in the rules. I think I literally said I banned Omni Boost and then just never put it in the rules. So now Omni Boosts aren't banned.
Oh boy. Well, it's gonna be fun to see. Everybody run Haze.
I don't have any Omni boosting Pokemon, and it's not fair.
Exchanges, but anyways, this is a good team. I like this team.
Yeah, I really like Durant, Grimmsnarl, all that. Very good synergy on this team.
All right, we're moving on, and this is actually your team. Coming up next, we have the Pennsylvania Porygon-Zs. I think you're still getting used to the name being Pennsylvania instead of Pittsburgh because you said Pittsburgh earlier instead of Pennsylvania. Yeah. But
wait, I did.
This is
I didn't even realize.
This is a cool throwback to some of your other teams. Why don't you explain the logo really quick? The 3 Pokemon there.
It's Porygon-Z because of the preseason where I did trash and went 0-4 and like -2 billion. And then like Appleton for the first season of this, Geneva, like Genesect from Geneva Genesect. That's like, I never used that logo in Victory Road, but like in the three other leagues I'm in right now, that is the logo I'm using. And Haxorus, who didn't do who did really well last season, but the logo team didn't do very well last season. But yeah, I just put them all there because they were on team logos before, and then Porygon-Z is back for revenge. Hopefully not going 0-4 and minus like 20.
I like the throwbacks. I'm always a fan of throwbacks to previous seasons, so let's take a look at this team. You have some really cool stuff going on. I personally really like the Trick Room options you have on this team, which you have quite a few. You have Doublade, Scrafty, Druddigon, Ampharos, Piloswine, Armaldo, Cresselia. All of these Pokemon can function in a Trick Room. Cresselia, an amazing Trick Room setter with its outstanding bulk. And then...
I'm pretty sure Cresselia is like base 85 speed.
Oh, I just mean like in setting Trick Room. It's really great. But then outside of Trick Room, you have really fast Pokemon. So you have like good speed tiers on both sides. So I really like that because you could force your opponent to have to prepare for both, even if you're not bringing both, which is a really nice thing.
I'm not losing the Trick Room again. It's not happening.
You're like, if you can't beat them, join them.
I'm pretty sure that's what I said about Megalopony too, because I had like an Aegis/team in mind going in, and I was like, okay, none of these are ever going to beat Megalopony, and I'm just going to lose 6-0 any time I try to face it. So I just got it instead.
Megalopony is kind of like your, I don't know, it's kind of like your Ride or Die, also Camerupt, which isn't here, rest in peace, but...
it's just because it's not Victory Road.
Yeah, it's a new generation, so... but yeah, I really like what you got going on. You have answers in that synergy with your Trick Room Pokemon. For example, Scrafty and Druddigon don't want to have to face a fairy, but Doublade is very good versus fairies. Ampharos gets hit pretty hard by Earthquake. I think maybe Earthquake is one of the things that your team hypothetically would struggle with, but then Rillaboom could set Grassy Surge, which is really nice because that weakens Earthquake and lets you be a lot more comfortable versus Earthquake. And then you also have Cresselia and Togekiss to be immune to Earthquake as well. So honestly, I feel like your team really shines with Trick Room, and then on top of that, it has options outside of Trick Room too, which is really nice.
In one of the leagues I'm using Trick Room, and it's really fun, even though it's not optimal in singles. I'm doing really well though. It's really fun strategy.
I challenge that assumption because I think in Draft League at least, Trick Room is a really potent tool because so many people are drafting thinking like, oh, I need to get my speed tiers, and then they might not be prepared for it. And versus an unprepared team for Trick Room is actually like amazing.
I can attest.
Yeah,
falling victim to Trick Room.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen again with this team. So
yeah, because like half of it is incredibly slow.
Yeah, you have sweepers, you have cleaners, you have sweepers in Trick Room, you have tanky Pokemon, you have a cleric. I really like your team. I think it's a really nice balanced Trick Room team that could go slow and fast, can take hits and recover. Overall, really nice team.
Yeah. All right. I don't want to reveal any more strategy.
By the way, everybody, the secret strategy is okay. No, never mind. We're gonna move on.
No, it's Trick Room.
All right. So we move on to Hive Minded, which is Drelmir's team. And first of all, I love this name and this concept. I actually am pretty proud that I helped come up with the name Hive Minded. I think I suggested Hive Mind, and then he took it even further and made it Hive Minded, which sounds even cooler. So kudos to that. Actually, I think Drelmir is one of our newcomers as well. I don't think he's participated in a league, so I'm curious to see how he does. He was a Gen 6 player, so he's still learning some of the new stuff of Gen 7 and 8, but he does have a really nice foundation. Like, whenever I talk to him and he asks me for like opinions on something he is thinking about, he always seems to have thought things through really well. So Drell, you are going to do awesome, I think.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this team. What are your first thoughts on this team?
Mega Beedrill. Yeah, Mega Beedrill is a really cool Pokemon. I think it's really good in draft.
Yeah.
Like, especially since it's like a lower point Mega. It's really valuable because it's just like, okay, I'm going to click Fell Stinger and somehow like 2-hit KO your whole team with a 40 base power move. And then Gliscor is really, really strong defensively. It can take any physical hit that Mega Beedrill is not poised to take. And that's a nice U-turn core right there, right off the bat. He has multiple strong rockers in Gliscor and Crocodile. The fact that he has multiple rockers means that he can be a little unpredictable in terms of what he wants to do with hazards. He has actually 3 rockers, I think.
Mawile.
Yeah, Mawile as well. I've used Chandelure before. You can ask King about Chandelure. He'll tell you how awesome it is. Yeah, it's a really good Pokemon, especially with this team because he has so many like ground resists. Like Eldegoss makes a nice core, Gyarados makes a nice core, Gliscor makes a very, very, very nice offensive core with Chandelure resisting ice. This team also has Storm Drain for Gastrodon as well as like Gyarados, and Eldegoss has nice resists as well as Golisopod. Golisopod's a very interesting Pokemon, especially now because it got heavy duty boots, and now it does not get sent out for switching in on Stealth Rocks and Spikes, which helps it quite a lot in not sucking.
I think that what you're mentioning, Gliscor, Eldegoss, Gyarados, and Gastrodon, they all just work really well together. I just realized it's so funny how many G Pokemon he has: Gliscor, Gardevoir, Golisopod, Gyarados, Gastrodon. But yeah, they work really well together because they really could switch into a lot of things that the others might be weak to. Eldegoss, I think, is such a good pick on this team. I was talking with him earlier, and Eldegoss just Regenerator, the support it gives, it feels like the missing puzzle piece in this team, honestly. Leech Seed is going to work really nicely for whatever it pivots into because there's so many options that he could switch into. Rapid Spin to remove hazards and maintain his own. He could also set up spikes if he wants to with Golisopod, which is really great. And then he also just rarely loses offensive pressure. His defensive Pokemon can all relatively hit hard back. Not so much Eldegoss, but even then, Eldegoss isn't like something to laugh at.
I mean, it clicks Leech Seed, and then you're like, oh no, now I'm on a timer.
Yeah, so it's... and then all of this on top of the fact that Conkeldurr is there, which is so good in draft. It's so good. It could dismantle stall teams. It is so bulky. He has policies versus Trick Room because Conkeldurr can deal with Trick Room decently well. So yeah, this team looks really, really nice. I'd say it hits more on the physical side than on the special side, but still hits on the special side strong enough with the picks he has.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, one thing. This team is, like, just a little weak to dark and, yeah, dark types, because Crocodile and Conk are the only resist, and they're both Yeah,
we keep
and
forgetting
Mawile.
about
But Mawile doesn't exist. Mawile doesn't exist because it just dies in like 2 hits to anything because it's really frail. For some reason, it shouldn't be so frail.
Conch and Crocodile are the only dark resists outside of Mawile, but Conch is a hell of a dark resist.
Yeah, but it's like the only thing I have to say about that is like you don't want your Conkeldurr getting super chipped down because Conkeldurr is also running Flame Orb 90% of games.
It could run Vest too, though.
It could run Vest, but then you're losing some firepower. Not that like it's inherently always a bad thing when you're losing firepower on Conkeldurr because it's always hitting hard regardless of guts or not.
I think on this particular team, it does well as a tank with Vest, in my opinion, because...
Yeah, and Gardevoir, Wishapur, he's pretty nice as well.
Yeah, this team just has so much
bulk. I think it resists every type. I think this team resists every type with at least one Pokemon. Like, very dark. Like, maybe Grimmsnarl could give this team trouble, but I don't want to go into specific Pokemon that could give this team trouble. It's really, really good defensively. And maybe just, like one small shortcoming here or there. But I think this team's really good, really strong. Magneton also traps the steals that, like, give Eldegoss and, yeah, Eldegoss trouble, as well as Gardevoir. But Gardevoir did gain Mystical Fire in the DLC. So maybe we could see some Porygon-Z on Gardevoir with that Z move.
Z Hypnosis would be cool. So
yeah,
lots of stuff, lots of cool stuff.
I forgot about that.
I like this team.
This team has the tech and the offensive and defensive pressure.
Yeah,
it plays all sides of the game pretty effectively.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Really good team.
Yeah.
All right, we move on to the next one. Rio Grande Rapidash with Ember.
Okay. I remember planning this game for Victory Road, and it was even more stally than it is now.
I was gonna say that's surprising, but it's actually like it's stally, but it's not that stally. Like there's stall, but there's also a lot of options that aren't stall. So
yeah, there's a lot of offense, but then there's like Mega Slowbro and Skarmory. And then there's the Deoxys defense and Sylveon, and it's super scary because Sylveon Heal Bell is just like, okay, well you toxic Mega Slowbro, not anymore. Mega Slowbro is insane on this game. It's so scary. Goodra resists both things and has an immunity to grass sometimes. And like dark types, Urshifu. If you let Urshifu in, you messed up. You should never be letting Urshifu in for free. You should at least be hitting Slowbro teleporting out. But yeah, Urshifu's a ginormous threat. That thing is like probably one of the top offensive Pokemon allowed. Other than like Dragapult, who it's probably competing with for the most dangerous offensive Pokemon. Sylveon, really scary with Wish, Heal Bell, as well as like the gained access to Mystical Fire, can run Porygon-Z, Z-Wish, Z-Heal Bell, all that support stuff. Rapidash gets the extra firepower it needs to get those sweeps going, or the cleanup sweeps going with the Z moves. I don't know what Victory Bell's doing. Maybe it's just there to supplement missing types. And Golurk is interesting because it's like, I forget Golurk's bulk, but it hits pretty hard. And is a decent low tier pickup for Trick Room, which Mega Slowbro's a very solid setter of.
Yeah, I'm especially looking at that Slowbro and Goodra, and even Skarmory too. Defensive core, it looks like it works really well together, like you mentioned earlier, with Goodra. And Skarmory could set up a bunch of spikes and rocks. Deoxys defense can do that too. This team has a lot of hazard setting options. Vikavolt could even set up a sticky web if it wants to. So this team is never running short on hazards. I guess the only one that it doesn't have is Toxic Spikes, unless something gets Toxic Spikes in Gen 8 that I'm not aware of. But
nothing here gets Toxic Spikes.
Yeah, so but I don't think it needs toxic spikes. Like, spikes, rocks, and sticky web are more than enough.
Spikes are really, really deadly because, like, anything that's running heavy-duty boots is weak to rock already. So spike support is really dangerous because, like, things can get away with just spike stacking because teams are less, like, defog centric because of boots.
Yeah, I think spikes is definitely going to be a good thing to utilize from this team. And then this team switches really suddenly from defense to offense. That's something that's really cool about this team. Blink and you'll miss it, because it'll be like this team can stall for days, and then you just teleport out into Urshifu or, for example, Exploud, and then they could start just hitting really hard if you're not in a favorable position against them. So I like that this team has options to do both. It kind of like, it's kind of polarized.
Rex sub too. Like, you can't sub up versus this team because you then just teleports into Explode and you're like, well, that's a wasted turn.
Yeah. So this team is very polar because the Pokemon on this team, generally speaking, I feel are either very defensive or very offensive. But it's really cool to see that. And there's obviously both. Like, Goodra could be both, Vikavolt could be both, Lapras even could be both. So really, really interesting to see, like, that seesaw effect of, like, okay, I'm snoozing from the defensive, like, from the stall. Oh, suddenly, like, these Pokemon come out that are really strong offensively. You know? So, that's a really cool thing about this team.
Yeah, Teleport Mega Slowbro is really an engine that this team needs. Because, yeah, it just teleports in Urshifu or Explode, and you're like, well, I can't switch into this time to sack something.
Yeah, I think if anything, this team might be a little bit vulnerable to Dark, but Sylveon and Urshifu offset that. So
Urshifu is like, okay, well, if you use a Dark move, you lose your Pokemon, so...
Yeah, so that's, like, Urshifu feels like a really good pick for this team in, like, threatening things that, like, this team does really well in, like, setting up the conditions for Urshifu to come in because it's so defensive and it could take its time.
Yeah, lots of pivots, or a few pivots, but they're good pivots, like Mega Slowbro, Vikavolt.
Yeah.
The only thing that's missing is Teleport Deoxys defense, but that would be broken, so...
Yeah.
And then you got Wish support from Sylveon, Heal Bell, so you can't just Toxic stall this team. And if he brings Rain Dance, 2 of his Pokemon get hydration, so...
Oh, and if he brings Sun, Victory Bell can have some fun, so...
There are 2 rain teams in this league, so anti-rain is not inherently bad.
Yeah. Overall, a good team. I like it. Ember's a Victory Road veteran. We forgot to mention you're also a Victory Road veteran, so these are the 2 players that I'm familiar with. So I'm definitely looking at both of you to see how you do.
That's why. That's why I picked so many Gen 8 Pokemon. So that people in Victory Road who have no clue what, like, how to play Gen 8 can maybe pick up some things.
I'll definitely be picking up some things, so. Alright, we're going to move on to the next one. This is Atlanta Talonflames. This is the team that is headed by Joe. You'll see his username as J Carlino, I believe 14. But that's Joe. Very, very cool logo. I think this is one of, like, the coolest logos in how clean it looks.
It's professional.
It's very professional. That's a good word for it. And Joe's a really cool guy. He's spoken to me before about some of the stuff that he's got going on. He's in a few other leagues. He has a channel where he posts a lot of really professional looking content with his leagues. So, and I think he has a master's in sports management, which is so cool because, like, esports, here we go. So yeah,
I feel threatened. I'm scared.
Welcome, Joe. So. Yeah. Let's take a look at this team. This is the Steel type guy. He's also run Mono Steel before, so it's not surprising to me that he has 3 Steel types. And this is a really nice looking team, very threatening looking team. So what are your first thoughts?
This is the team that made me regret not banning Omni Boosts.
Well, you were gonna ban all of them except Porygon-Z, so he still would have had at
fine.
least one Omni.
Yeah, but the fact that he has two, and one of them is, like, legitimately broken, scares me. He has Double Dragon, Duraludon, Como, very good Dragon Core. Right off the bat, it was just something I picked up. This team, yeah, I was gonna say it's Fighting Week, and then I saw Wheezing Galar and also Lando T, who just, like, eat fighting type moves, as well as Musharna.
Musharna, yeah.
Yeah, Musharna is a cool Pokemon, but I'm not losing into it again. So please don't bring it versus me because I don't want to get Omni Boost swept in Trick Room.
I don't think that this team is too fighting weak because there's Duraludon and Regigigas and Empoleon.
As well as Empoleon.
But that's it. The other steel types, Metagross, just Metagross, has Psychic, so that offsets its weakness. Wheezing really good at taking on fighting types. Lando, like you mentioned, so Musharna. So there's a lot of answers to fighting types on this team, I think.
This team is like Trick Room Week, and then you look all the way at the bottom, and then it's not Trick Room Week anymore. Because there's like Regigigas, Musharna, Empoleon. Empoleon's not like Trick Room, but it can function in Trick Room, which is kind of scary. And then on the other side of the coin, you have frickin' Mega Sceptile, who unfortunately like has shallow move pool, but the rest of the team can supplement for said shallow move pool, allowing it to be a really, really effective cleaner because the rest of the team, like, nuclear is nuclear. It's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Landorus Therian, great wall breaker, great defensive mon. Porygon-Z, great wall breaker, not such a great defensive mon, but a great wall breaker. Wheezing Galar, great wall, not a great wall breaker. And Defog support, as well as like an incredible defensive typing. Jolteon, very good pivot into Lando T. Very nice Volturn core there.
I think that Jolteon is nice for this team because overall what I'm noticing is that maybe bulky waters could be problematic, especially if they have haze. Because if PZ...
Mega Sceptile.
True, Mega Sceptile can handle bulky waters, but it doesn't want to switch into an Ice Beam. So, like, I think bulky waters with Ice Beam coverage can give this team problem, but Empoleon works really well in like slowing the pace of the battle a little bit, and then Jolteon.
And then he has Lightning Rod on Mega Sceptile, Volt Absorb on Jolteon. Does he have a ground type? He has Lando T.
Yeah.
And then Empoleon Quad Resist Ice and Water. Okay.
Empoleon and Lando T work really nicely together because Lando T comes in on Earthquakes and Empoleon comes in on Ice Beams.
Yeah. This team is really, really scary. It's got like the fast elements, fast nukes. It's got fast nukes, just fast Pokemon, fast threats, fast cleaners, Musharna,
two Omni
defensive
Boosts.
Pokemon. Yeah, 2 Omni Boosts. Como is probably going to run Omni Boost a lot more than Porygon-Z because Porygon-Z can run Specs very, very effectively.
I think that maybe bulky grounds can be a little bit of a problem to this team, but... Yeah.
Mega Sceptile again.
But Mega Sceptile, yeah. I mean, like, Mega Sceptile can be hard to bring in, but...
Especially, like, yeah.
But
if Mega Sceptile gets in, it does a lot, unless you have, like... Wait, actually, it doesn't do a lot. You have to kill the right stuff for Mega Sceptile to do good. But once you kill the right stuff, Mega Sceptile is very, very potent.
I think
it's like 3 coverage moves.
I think it just works well with this team, like in eliminating specific threats.
Especially with Hidden Power Loud, it really appreciates Hidden Power.
But yeah, overall solid team. I like it.
Very good offensive, very, very good defensively as well. I think this is probably a really, really good balanced team right here. And then Regigigas, who's not that good.
Balance leaning more towards offense.
Yeah.
But yeah, we move on to the next team.
I know this guy.
This is King's team.
Yes.
And you always remarked about the playlist how like everything is so intense, and now we move on to Nuvema Town.
Yeah, it's kind of slow. And this team is not slow. It is slow, but it's also like incredibly fast.
Options for both, but of course Dragapult means that.
Yeah, Dragapult's a cheater.
So
and then you got Honchkrow, who just is one of the better Dragapult counters. Even though it doesn't switch in, it just threatens Dragapult out. He has Primarina, who I know he really likes. He did really well in a league with it before that I watched. It was like 4 months ago. But yeah, very good Pokemon. We've seen Benji use Buzzwole before. Really terrifying Pokemon to go up against if you forget to prep for it.
Yeah.
And then you got like Avalugg, Wall, as well as Gigalith, who's also a Wall. He got like the Glacier and the Mountain on the same team. And then he also got Mega Steelix. He just got a bunch of like big, like gigantic tanks, and then he got Dragapult, Salazzle, like he got like a bunch of glass cannons, and then just picked the Pokemon with the highest defense stats possible.
I do think that strong special attacks could be a problem for this team, because most of the defensive Pokemon are defensive on the physical side, like you said. Primarina is decently good with its special defense, but
and
usually
Gigalith also gets the Sand boost.
Yeah,
like Spadef boost from Sand.
Yeah, usually Primarina though wants to invest in its special attack, and so it's not going fully special defensive. But yeah, so that's something to consider. I think that Sand will be seeing a lot, because Gigalith with that special defense boost, even with Vest, for example, can be really, really hard to take down, even with super effective moves. Offensively, this team has a lot of options. There's fast options, there's slow options.
Yeah. Completely forgot about Indeedee, who just like, okay, you want to sucker punch my Dragapult? Well, you can't do that anymore, or it's not allowed.
Yeah, Indeedee forms a really nice core with Dragapult in that respect, in that
it does kind of shoot Honchkrow in the foot, though.
Yeah. Well, okay, wait. Actually, Honchkrow. So, Honchkrow's flying. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
It can use Sucker Punch. I think. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think that's how it works. It might be another Pokemon. It might be the other Pokemon is levitating, so it's not affected. But it might just be that, and yeah, that would help it a lot. Not a lot of these, like Bolton. I don't know what Bolton does, because I've never seen it, because nobody ever uses it. I don't think it's that good, but it's an interesting Pokemon. It gets Strong Jaw and Competitive, which are both really good abilities. It has good offensive stats, but it also gets one-shotted by just about everything. It has NFE Bolt without being an NFE.
Okay, I just looked it up. It prevents grounded Pokemon from being hit by priority moves, so yeah, Honchkrow wouldn't be able to hit grounded Pokemon with priority moves. My bad.
Yeah, so it does kind of hurt Honchkrow a little bit, but it benefits Dragapult to the point where it's worth it, probably.
Yeah, I would say so. And it also could benefit the others too, like from getting hit by strong moves that wouldn't hit first otherwise. Like Salazzle and Roserade are pretty thin defensively, so they don't want to get hit by an extreme speed, for example.
Yeah, this team blows Lanoon up.
Yeah, Lanoon, sorry, you're cancelled.
Yeah, Lanoon got cancelled. Yeah, I mean, it got Throat Chop, but now it can't use it because extreme speed is banned. in this against this team, extreme speed is not allowed.
Yeah, but Dragapult, really solid Pokemon. I'm curious to see how it does. Buzzwole hits really hard. Overall, this team hits really hard. It defends on the physical side pretty nicely. Bulky fighting types could be problematic for the defensive Pokemon, but then there's options for those. And
Primarina.
Yeah, like Primarina and
Honchkrow can also just like blow them up if it's like Scarf Honchkrow can just go like Brave Bird and now you're dead.
Yeah. So I'd say like probably the biggest concern for this team is the special defense, but it's pretty fast, and also Steelix can use Sand Force to its advantage in the sand with Gigalith, which is cool. So
yeah, nice little sand core.
So yeah, also rocks and spikes available on this team, toxic spikes as well. So
this team would really, really appreciate a Trick Room setter. If I had to recommend something, it would probably be get a Trick Room setter.
Yeah.
So that like you can abuse Mega Steelix as a Sand Force abuser.
Can Indeedee set Trick Room?
I don't think so, because like every time I watch a VGC video, it's like it's always helping other Pokemon set Trick Room. Let's see.
It can set Trick Room.
Interesting. Well, yeah. I think Indeedee typically prefers to run Scarf Expanding Force, but we can see if he just decides to run Trick Room instead some weeks.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting team. I definitely think it's going to be hard to outspeed this team, for sure.
Yeah, especially because Psychic Surge.
Yeah, so very cool team. We're going to move on to the next one. This is Siren's Spell by the coach Lithium, who is the third FNF Draft League veteran. She did not participate in Victory Road, but in Orber Gate, which was our NFE Plus League, which was very fun. I liked it a lot. It was just cool to see a defensive meta for once.
Ew. Disgusting.
But yeah.
The races and Rillaboom's running around clicking nukes. This Pokemon's... This team is scary. It has a good Trick Room mode, all that. Also, I like this logo. Hatterene is a good Pokemon. I appreciate it a lot. In one of my leagues, it's really good Pokemon.
I had fun making this logo. I like the witchy the witchy vibe that she has going on in her team. Like it's like in a lot of her Pokemon, like Miss Magius, for example, very witchy. Gothitelle and Hatterene, Vileplume can be kind of witchy. Like, I don't know, I like the aesthetic. It's cool.
Yeah, this is a really interesting team. I like it a lot. It does have triple psychic, which is like a little weird, but like none of like Hatterene and Meloetta I don't think share any psychic weaknesses, so it's not that big a deal. Noivern's really interesting because it's like an extremely fast Pokemon on an otherwise pretty slow team. Yeah, this team is like, I think the next fastest Pokemon is like Miss Magius at like 105, and then Tapu Fini at 95, and then it just keeps going down. Unless Houndoom's like base 100. I'm not sure though.
I think it's either 95 or 100. But yeah, otherwise this team is more of a...
Yeah.
I'd say like maybe 95.
This is a hardcore Trick Room team.
Yeah, it definitely appreciates Trick Room set by Hatterene or Gothitelle. There's also some good defensive elements to this team. Like Steelix could be a nice physical Pokemon. Tapu Fini can be a nice specially defensive Pokemon. Scizor, physical. Vileplume could be nice defensively. Overall, Tapu Fini looks like it's going to be carrying a lot of weight in, like...
Dealing with those fires.
Yeah, dealing with
but
fire.
Houndoom does get Flash Fire, right?
Yes, it does.
So that helps a lot with the fire types that threaten this team pretty hard.
Yeah.
However, like, Houndoom doesn't want to come to every game because 50 base defense.
Yeah. Houndoom could be rather frail on an otherwise bulky team, so... But there's some really cool stuff going on. I like the Trick Room. I like the fact that Noivern forces you to prep with speed. Like, you can't just be like, okay, I'm just going bulky now because then Noivern might outspeed you.
Yeah. Specs Noivern's a giant threat in draft.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't draft proper steals and fairies, that thing is a menace. And then Toxtricity's scary with Shiftier on this team because, like, okay, well, I outspeed Noivern, but do I outspeed Shiftier Toxtricity?
Yeah. There's also Gothitelle Shadow Tag, which is really cool at removing, like, pesky Pokemon by trapping them. So maybe, like, a strategy could be trap a fire type that gives this team trouble and try to eliminate it or weaken it with Gothitelle, and then the rest of the team benefits a lot. So there's definitely ways that this team supports itself that the opponent, like, might find difficult to consider, I guess, like taking all these things into account.
Prep mons. There's a lot of prep mons here.
Yeah.
Like, Gothitelle is like a heavy duty prep mon. Tapu Fini is pretty tough to prep around because, like, on this bulky team, you can't toxic it anymore.
Yeah.
And then, like, you can't hazard stack because Magic Bounce Hatterene. There's a lot to take into account when you're fighting this team because it's, like, never easy to cut down on that bulk and really saw into it. This team would, I think, benefit a lot from a Wish Passer that it kind of sorely lacks right now.
Yeah, I agree.
But otherwise, it's a very difficult team to decompose.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Lots of really cool stuff going on. I think Vileplume also could fulfill a nice role on this team with Leech Seed, providing some passive recovery to any switch-ins that come in. But yeah, really interesting team. I'm curious to see how it does.
Sunspore helps Scizor and Toxtricity quite a lot as well. So yeah, Sleep Spore, Sunspore, pretty interesting stuff if Misty Terrain isn't up.
Yeah. That's the cool thing. It's like you always have to prep, like, oh, is Misty Terrain going to be up? Can I bring Status? Is Status going to come from Vileplume now if it doesn't come? Like, there's, like you said, there's so many things to consider with this team, which is really interesting.
It sounds like Ditto, but a team.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, we'll move on to the next one. And this is Lincoln Lanturns. I don't know what it is about Lincoln Lanturns, but I just love that name. It's so catchy. Like, I'll see all the names on the dock, and then Lincoln Lanturns, like, just stays in my head. I'm like, Lincoln Lanturns, Lincoln Lanturns.
Yeah. It's funny how he's like Lantern Team and Sand. Crazy.
I really like his team, and I think Marv is a really cool guy. He joined, I think, when Victory Road was still in session in Season 2 at the end, and he was, like, really interested in joining. Overall, just a really polite person, like, good sportsmanship, I'd say. So, welcome, Marv. Glad to have you. And I had fun designing this logo, too. Like, I tried my best to make it appear like Lantern was underwater, like, in the deep ocean, but then also, like, lighting up with its, lights. So yeah. So thoughts on this team?
It's very, very interesting. It's Sand. So now we have 2 rain teams and a Sand team. And the Sand team has Tangela, so that's cool. As well as Crobat and Vaporeon, Kyurem. Lots of breakers. Like Gardevoir and Kyurem, very hard to tank out on the special side, especially since Kyurem got freeze dry. Excadrill is not easy to eat a hit from ever. It's so strong, especially like Hippowdon just comes in on any physical hit that this team doesn't want to take and just eats it. Same with Tangela. Infernape provides so much utility and a pivot into Excadrill. Same with Crobat. And Vaporeon is also a very good slow pivot now because it got Flip Turn. Persian Alola. So many pivots on this team. He has multiple Parting Shot users. Wait, does Titanol get Parting Shot?
No, it does not. Only Silvally.
But it does get U-Turn.
Yes.
So yeah, lots of pivots.
Wow, yeah, lots of pivots. Rotom also another pivot. He has so many options to really seize momentum. And
Sticky Web Masquerain for that.
That's
Gardevoir for Kyurem.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. I think Masquerain, he was actually asking me about his last pick and he was considering a few things. I think he was really smart to go with Masquerain because Sticky Web is so good for Gardevoir. And I think it's going to be an amazing tool. He will definitely be able to set it up, I think, considering he has so many pivots that he could really capitalize on. Tangela with Hippowdon and Vaporeon is just an amazing defensive core. I could see bulky grass types being troublesome, but then Crobat comes in and it's all fine.
Infernape.
And Infernape as well, who can also pivot. So,
and then you have Gardevoir who got Mystical Fire.
So yeah, this is a really solid team. This is one of the really strong teams that I really like. I think
very fun sand.
The sand is really nice for Excadrill. Like on the surface, this team isn't super fast, but there's so many tools to make it faster. And there are some fast options even outside of that. Crobat and Infernape, also really good, solid picks. Crobat, without Crobat, I'd say this team could possibly struggle a little bit with bulky fighting types. I mean, Gardevoir can take them on, but it doesn't want to switch into like an Iron Head. But Crobat is rather chunky and can switch into attack from a bulky fighting type if it's not Stone Edge. So, like, Crobat is a really good pick for this team. So many pivots. This team pivots. It's got a lot of tools. And it could also deal with Earthquake really well.
Yeah. And then Hippowdon just eats physical hits as well that Crobat doesn't want to take.
Yeah, and Tangela. Tangela could eat physical hits really nicely.
This team does not appreciate knockoff. Like, other than like Persian, who can use Rattled. But this team does not really appreciate
Persian's probably going to want to go for Fur Coat.
Yeah. But yeah, I would just say that the one small thing that I have to say about this team is it doesn't like knockoff because it's neutral for Gardevoir, and any like super hard hitting knockoff is gonna 2-hit KO Gardevoir since it's so physically frail. Excadrill is fine with losing leftovers, Life Orb, Band, whatever. I guess it doesn't like love it because it's losing recovery or like that little bit of extra damage that pushes the 2-hit KO.
I think it really depends on who's using knockoff. If it's a bulky fighting type, Gardevoir can come in if it outspeeds it. If it's because it doesn't get that extra damage because it's Mega. And then if it's a dark type, I feel like Infernape is a safer pick to come in. So there's options. Like, this team doesn't like knockoff, but there's still options depending on who's using the knockoff.
Yeah. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
Very, very cool team, though. I like it a lot. Me about every team. I'm like, I like this team a lot, but there's so many solid teams in this season, so really excited to see how it goes.
All right.
So the next team, Seattle Seismitoads. The coach on this team is Matt, and he actually joined quite a while ago too. He didn't participate in Victory Road. I think he joined like right after Orberg became a thing, and he wanted to participate. He was on the backup list, but no one dropped out. And he's a really solid player. He definitely has a lot of like he looks into a lot of things. Like I know him from a couple other servers, and he's like really into like researching stuff and has a lot of different knowledge about Pokemon. So really excited to see how he does. What do you think of this team?
It looks really good screens offense with a lot of fire resist for Scizor. And Gallade Mega also looks really deadly under screens because it gets like Sword Stance behind screens and then just cleans because it's got that really nice base 110 speed. Then you got Bisharp, who's always kind of just a prep demon at the very least.
Yeah.
Blastoise can spin pretty well for this team and also tank the fire hits aimed at Scizor, and also can tank most neutral hits pretty well. Flying type hits this team pretty hard, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just Bisharp who resists flying.
Yeah, looks like it. Yeah.
And Bisharp's not super defensive, so maybe draft like another flying resist because Bird Spam kind of hurts. But yeah, this team is pretty good defensively. Like, it has a Fire, Water, Grass core. And Blastoise looks very nice on this team, especially when paired with like Nidoqueen because it can tank those Ice type moves. And it can tank most neutral hits, like maybe Hyper Voice from Sylveon, Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, etc., etc. It can also, and then Nidoqueen pairs pretty well with Latios. However, there is the common ice weakness. I think there's a really good core going between Latios, Nidoqueen, Scizor, and Blastoise.
I think Screens is definitely going to do this team well. Meowstic was just a really good pick for this team. Screens and Yawn is going to be really nice for this team. Misdreavus, also a really, really nice pick for this team, in my opinion. It has a lot of different support moves, and I think this team is all about setting up those conditions for Gallade to go ahead and sweep. Arcanine is also a really good Pokemon. It could go for an agility, and behind screens, it really appreciates that. Blastoise can go for the Shell Smash, which is another really good Pokemon. It could go physical or special if it wants to. And then, of course, Nidoqueen, really hard-hitting special Pokemon. So this team, it really appreciates that screen support, I think. One thing that I do think this team might struggle with is bulky waters, because Lilligant is not really a super reliable Pokemon. And unless Lilligant got something new, but the fact that Hidden Power is gone just really hurts it, I think.
Hidden Power is allowed.
Oh, never mind. I'm so dumb. I'm trying to think of Gen 8.
Leaf Blade. Gallade also gets Leaf Blade, which kind of helps a lot.
Okay, that's true. Okay,
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot about Screen's offense with Smash Toys.
Yeah, Smash Toys looks really nice on this team.
Yeah, and then behind screen supports, it kind of like those drops are kind of negligible.
Yeah. Bisharp could also set up a Swords Dance behind screens. This team just like, if it sets up screens, or if it yawns and you have to switch out, or if it burns enough Pokemon with Misdreavus, Will-O-Wisp, like, it could seize momentum really fast. Like, this team, it also has pivots in Scizor and Swellow. Arcanine is such a good Z Pokemon. I'm speaking from like Season 2 experience. It gets so many nice Z moves.
With screens, it can probably run weakness policy since it has great natural bulk.
Yeah. And this team, it's really good anti-knockoff, actually, because Gallade in its regular form and Arcanine with Justified, you don't want to give them a free attack boost, that's for sure. So yeah, it could be like kind of hard to know when you're safe to knock off, and that's really good for Misdreavus, who I think is honestly slept on, and I think we'll see some fun stuff coming from Misdreavus for sure.
Swallow Boomburst behind screens also seems really annoying to take care of because it's just like okay, well, I gotta kill Swallow, but it's behind screen, so it's not gonna die very easily. Which, yeah.
Yeah,
Very good offensive team.
Yeah.
Maybe a little weaker defensively, but very, very strong offensively.
Yeah, this is all about setting up that condition to go all out offensively. So, really curious to see how that goes. It's funny because he was like, I'm going to go semi-stall, but then I think he got sniped early on and he was just like, screw it, we're going more offensive now.
There's like almost hyper offense.
Yeah.
Just like a couple things missing.
Yeah. But really, really solid team. I think this is a cool one.
Yeah. I really like this team. Very offensive, and Scizor is an awesome Pokemon.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alright, we move on to the next team. Kelowna Kangaskhan. Wow, I butchered that. Kelowna Kangaskhan, or Kelowna. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that.
I'm not either. I'm just gonna say Kelowna.
Kelowna. Sorry, my guy, if we say it wrong. I actually meant to look up earlier where Kelowna was. It's yeah, it's in Canada. I thought so.
I was gonna say it was in Australia, but that's clearly wrong.
It's in Canada. But yeah, so my guy, another cool... My guy, he's my guy! He's another cool Draft League newcomer on FNF. He definitely seems excited, and every time I talk to him, he just is a really cool guy, like very friendly. So really excited for him to be in the league. I just like it when there's a lot of friendly, good sportsman-like people in the league. So I'm really excited to see how this one goes. So what do you think about this team?
It's very, very interesting. You've got like a very bad bulky water weakness, and then you have Rotom-Mow and Amoonguss. And then you have Water Absorb Quagsire and Unaware Quagsire. So this team's good at stopping like non-superior sweepers, but then it has Zardex, who stops superior.
Azumarill with Sap Sipper could stop superior too.
Yeah, but like it normally prefers Belly Drum, but that is potential. Like it did happen in Orberg basically with Meryl. But yeah, this team kind of struggles with superior, but that's like one of the very few Pokemon that I could see breaking past this team super easily defensively, and it's only one Pokemon and only one person drafted it.
Yeah, and even then
it's not a free break.
Yeah, so. Like there's a lot of options. I think like Miltank has Sap Sipper, so Miltank could come faster. In. Sorry?
Torntee's faster.
Yeah.
Charizard 4 times resist.
Yeah, Azumarill could run Sap Sipper if it wants to. Klefki could stop a sweep or at least set up a light screen. So, like, I don't know. I feel like this team has a lot of answers to it.
It's very anti-setup. Because it's like, okay, Amoonguss, Klefki, Unaware Quagsire, Alomomomola.
Hitmontop could also intimidate things.
Yeah. And then, like, Assault Vest Hitmontop is kind of thick. It's a very good mon. It's very hard to take down.
Yeah.
Zardex is a very threatening setup sweeper. I think that majority of the games are just going to be trying to set up for sweeper Zardex. Maybe, like, nasty plot Torntea.
Torntea and Zardex seem to be the premier sweepers on this team. Azumarill can break things pretty nicely and could sweep in the late game with Belly Drum, Aqua Jet. But yeah, for the most part, this seems like more of a bulk-oriented team, which is just trying to like prevent the opponent from gaining momentum, which it does really well. And if the opponent does gain momentum, like we said, Quagsire could come in and deal with that very easily. On top of that, there is clerical support from Alomomola. There's spinning from Hitmontop and defogging from Rotom-Mow and Torntea. There's nice pivots. Klefki can also set spikes and clear hazards.
Thunderwave sweepers, set up screens in the face of sweepers.
Yeah, this team is very anti-setup sweeper, like you said. And then the thing that seems to be a weakness on the surface, like grass types that hit really hard, is actually not a weakness because Miltank, Azumarill could run Sap Sipper, Charizard 4x resists, Amoonguss 4x resists, Klefki could cut, like, so it's really, like, it has a lot of answers to deal with some of the things it might have trouble with as well.
Yeah. It also has, just like Zardex is a bomb and a half.
Yeah, I see this game playing, I see this team playing more defensively in the beginning and then cleaning at the end with Zard or perhaps Torntia or Azumarill.
Yeah.
Even Hitmontop, like Technician Vest Hitmontop can just do wonders as a cleaner.
Yeah, it's a big threat.
I like this team a lot. This is one of the teams I also really like one of the ones that I would consider using if I was in this league.
Yeah. Bulky, straight into offense.
So we're going to move on to the next one. This is Terrifying Toxtricity by Ray Ninja.
Rain Team number 2.
Rain Team numero dos. This is a more traditional Rain Team, I'd say, than the other one. Well, the other one has Pelipper, but this one is more like... Wait, does Barraskewda get Swift Swim?
I believe so. It doesn't need it as much as Swampert does, though.
Yeah. But this is kind of like a Rain Team I'm more used to seeing, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It definitely is like Rain. Like, it is full-on Rain. Rain isn't just an option on this team. Like, this team pretty much, I feel like 99% of the time is going to be running Rain.
Team is very similar to Lion Hugs and Victory Road.
Yeah, I was thinking that actually earlier.
Politoed, nice, cool Pokemon, very bulky when it needs to be. Mandibuzz is really bulky, very tough to take down. It's one of the best answers to like Cinderace, which I have. It's also a really good answer to Aegislash. Just like a lot of things that are really hard to check otherwise, Mandibuzz just checks now because of heavy duty boots. And yeah, lots of rain abusers, like lots of dry skin, 2 dry skin users. Escavalier takes half damage from fire moves basically at this point. Ribombee, reduced damage from fire moves. Swampert, just really bulky, and then just nukes everything with Waterfall, Water Flinch. And then, like, I don't know what Trevenant's doing. Probably just trying to be a grass resist.
Drampa comes in on grass too with Sap Sipper.
Everybody has Sap Sipper.
Yeah, these last couple teams. Heliolisk is a really nice pick on this team. There's also a hidden component in this team, a hidden Trick Room component, in which Trevenant, Escavalier, Colossal, maybe, I'm not sure what its speed is.
Like 30. Yeah,
Colossal, Drampa. Those 4 Pokemon are also kind of like a hidden Trick Room component on this team. So maybe like...
What? That's probably what Trevenant's there for then.
Yeah. So that's something that like also can keep opponents on their toes, because it's like, oh, are you preparing for rain? Well, watch out for the Trick Room too. So that's also cool.
The Scavalier is a really good pickup for this team. Like, very slow anti-Trick Room, which benefits Mega Swampert trying to sweep. Because it's like, okay, well, if you set Trick Room now, my Escavalier is going to destroy you. But if you don't, then my Mega Swampert's going to destroy you instead.
I think that...
Yeah, same with Kingdra.
Depending on the composition of this team, bulky waters and grasses can be kind of problematic. Like, Heliolisk carries a lot of responsibility in dealing with bulky water types, because once Heliolisk is down, it's going to be very hard to deal with them, I think.
Specs Kingdra is like a freaking nuke. Like, Specs Draco probably, like, one-hit KOs so much. I'm pretty sure that, like, even Azumarill, like, offensive Azumarill is 2-hit KO'd by Hydro Pump from Kingdra into the rain. Like, if it's Specs, it just absolutely mauls so much.
Yeah, Kingdra was a really good pick for this team. Like, Swampert and Kingdra just hit really hard on both sides of the spectrum. And Jirachi is also really nice on this team, too. It definitely, like, likes that fire weakness in the rain. Like, the fire weakening. And it synergizes decently well with Mandibuzz, who could come in on Earthquakes and Dark-type moves that threaten Jirachi. And then Jirachi could come in on Fairies that threaten Mandibuzz.
Toxicroak's also a pretty nice pickup for this team, because it does a lot in terms of killing those bulky grasses, as well as being immune to water.
Yeah. This team
and
is very...
so it actually does rip apart bulky waters because they can't toxic it. They can't scald it.
Oh, yeah,
they
true.
They have to bring other conventional means of dealing with it.
I'm not super familiar with Toxicroak, but yeah, that's all true. So that is actually good against bulky waters. I think this team has good anti-water. So it's like trying to make sure that only it benefits from the rain, not the other team.
Yeah. Barraskewda does destroy this team, though. I had to say it. But
yeah, with Swift Swim, Barraskewda looks like it could be a problem for this team. Maybe Politoed can take a hit and then dish something
probably
back.
Banded or something. It's Banded, Liquidation, Flip Turn, Psychic Fang, CC.
But
I don't want to reveal strategies.
Toxicroak still looks pretty nice if it lacks Psychic Fangs, though. Which it probably won't, but...
Rabombi is also really nice. Just set webs or sweep.
Yeah.
Colossal, slow, rapid spins for this team so that maybe on occasion he can bring a different Mandibuzz set.
Overall, this team is a really cool rain team. I like both Swampert and Kingdra just going to town. They hit really hard together. I'm surprised that there's another rain team and he managed to get both Swampert and Kingdra.
Yeah.
Also, very cool logo. I had fun making this one too.
Yeah, there's a lot of lightning in all your logos.
I know. I got recommended. A lot of people requested lightning. One more thing I'll say is that Drampaw is such a good Pokemon on this team. 100% accurate Hurricanes. Can also benefit from Trick Room. Sapsipper. Really nice. Hits like a truck. Decently bulky. Drampaw for a tier 5 pick. This is an amazing Pokemon on this team. So really, really smart pick for Drampaw.
Yeah. Especially I forgot to say this, but Kingdra got Hurricane too, as well as Flip Turn. So it pivots out into Mega Swampert, and you're like, oh crap, I just messed up.
Yeah. I think Kingdra actually could beat Barraskewda, because it takes it 4 times resists water moves, and close combat and Psychic Fangs won't kill it because it's naturally bulky.
That's true. That is true. However, you don't want to bring defensive Kingdra versus Rain. Especially when you're Rain yourself.
Yeah, I mean, just I don't think Barraskewda could one-hit KO Kingdra. I don't know. Maybe it can.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
But anyways, we're going to move on to the next team.
And that is the Refrigerated Kingdras. Whatever.
Yeah, Refrigerated Kingdras. Speaking of Kingdra, we move on to the Refrigerated Kingdras.
Kingdra is not on the Kingdra team. I'm pretty sure that Wright got sniped frame 1.
I actually know he wasn't going for Kingdra. I think he said that like he just wasn't. I do like that Kingdra.
He's going for rain.
Kingdra opening the fridge, and there's W's for breakfast and lunch. Reich is a really, really cool person. He joined, I think, during season 2. And he's just been a pleasure to have around. It's always fun talking to him, and great sportsmanship. And I'm really curious to see how he does, because he was undefeated in one of his leagues. So really curious.
I got to watch him play one time.
Sorry?
I got to watch him play one time.
He seems like a really solid player. I think I might have watched him play once, but he's
very, very, very solid.
Very what?
He's very good at playing defensively with his defensive pieces.
And he does have a lot of defensive pieces on this team too. He has Tangrowth, he has Bronzong, he has Milotic, and Donphan, all of which have decent defensive utility. I think that Tangrowth and Milotic work really nicely together. And he also has good offensive Pokemon as well. Charizard Y, Tapu Koko, and Garchomp. And then, of course, Raichu in electric terrain, which, like, you just aren't outspeeding it in electric terrain.
I forgot about Rising Voltage now. So, such a threat. If you don't have a ground type, I think you just auto lose to this team because of Raichu. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm pretty sure most teams, if not all, have a ground type. But, like, if you...
Or a Volt Absorber.
If you don't have a Volt Absorb or ground type, you just lose to Raichu. Because, like, Specs Rising Voltage just OHKOs everything in existence.
Yeah, Raichu's looking really nice on this team. What do you think overall about this team and how it functions?
Well, I think that it does a really, really good job because of heavy-duty boots. Not because of Zard Y getting them itself, but because of the fact that Xatu can run boots and magic, like, it can threaten magic bounce, but if he mispredicts rocks going up or something, he can always come back later and defog without taking that 25% damage. Donphan's also a really good spinner for facilitating Zard Y. And Koko is an incredible offensive pivot. Like, it exerts so much offensive pressure, then it just forces you to switch out so that Zard Y gets a free inning. Milotic, Exeggutor, and Bronzong, really good defensive core. He has 3 psychic types.
Tangrowth works really well with Milotic. Exeggutor, I think he got Exeggutor for the Sun. I think he actually originally wanted Victory Bell, but it was sniped, which is funny thinking, like, Victory Bell was sniped and it's not even on the Sun team. Like, I bet he didn't expect that.
Even get picked? Did Venusaur even get picked?
I don't think so, but it was probably too expensive for him.
Yeah, but, like, I remember watching your video and you're like, well, or something you said, you were like, well, if Venusaur gets picked, Victory Bell's there as a replacement. Like, the weaker Sun abuser. But now Venusaur didn't even get picked and Victory Bell got sniped of all things.
And then I guess there's Vileplume, but that also got picked.
Whoa. This team has 1 Ghost Resist. And that's a Kangaskhan.
Oh, yeah.
That's not good.
Dragalge.
Well, maybe Frogadier. Frogadier can.
Isn't Frogadier just pure water?
Well, it gets Protean.
Oh, yeah, true. Dragapult can be a problem for this team for sure.
Yeah, because it outspeeds everything and just clicks buttons. Like, fast offensive ghosts actually tear through this team. Like, Gengar, Dragapult. Because there's no, like, chlorophyll abusers to deal with them. Like, I don't think Gengar even got drafted though, so he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like super offensive ghosts look like they would rip this team apart. But I think he could probably deal with it, even though most ghosts get like Focus Blast or some type of way of just wrecking Kangaskhan.
Kangaskhan also has Scrappy, so there's that.
Well, it can hit them back, but like, it just depends. Is Kangaskhan getting 2-hit KO'd because they are offensive ghosts?
Yeah. Tapu Koko is really fast, and I'm pretty sure Tapu Koko could outspeed Dragapult, or is Dragapult that fast?
Dragapult's base 142.
I think Coco's 130. Oh, it's 130? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. Wow.
Zeraora is
the best one that's faster.
The best offensive check to Dragapult.
Wow.
But yeah,
Dragapult's crazy fast.
Yeah. Oh, so you can catch me picking up Ninjask to check Dragapult.
Yeah, so Dragapult could be problematic for this team, but otherwise...
It has ways of dealing, like Cassiberry Bronzong, Cassiberry Raichu. Cassiberries can be a pretty common item.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Exeggutor. Except Exeggutor is mad slow.
Garchomp could deal with Dragapult if it has a Haban Berry.
That's true, but then Dragapult can just U-turn and then you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dragapult's definitely a huge threat to this team, but like it's one Pokemon and like a very select few of offensive ghosts got drafted.
Yeah. I think if this team had to make an exchange, it would be something that could deal with ghosts. Like mostly a dark type. I think this team really would want to have.
Maybe get rid of like Exeggutor for Shiftry.
Oh yeah, Shiftry could be really nice on this team.
Because yeah, then a Dark Resist and Chlorophyll as well.
Shiftry continuing its reign from season 2.
Recommend Shiftry for this team.
But Zard Y, Tapu Koko, insane amounts of offensive pressure, and they are pretty fast.
Yeah.
Tangrowth and Milotic.
Always Scarf Koko.
Yeah. So yeah, this team has a lot of options to remove hazards. It has a lot of options in what kind of game it wants to play, whether it wants to play terrain, sun, or both. It has good defensive options, and it has some support options too. Tangrowth can Leech Seed, for example. It's not going to want to sleep as much if Koko comes. Bronzong can set screens. I think screens is really going to be something that is useful for dealing with Dragapult. Unless it gets Infiltrator, which please tell me it doesn't.
It does.
It does? Oh my god.
I think it gets Infiltrator, Clear Body, and like one other. It's not as good as the other two.
The thing's crazy.
So it's anti-webs, anti-screens, anti-sub.
Wow. Well, yeah, now I see why it's one of the best Pokemon. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how Reich does. Really cool guy. And this looks like a really fun team to use. I think Raichu is going to be really fun in terrain. Donphan has priority with Ice Shard. Kangaskhan can fake out. So there's a lot of different things going on in this team.
Fat. Milotic is fat. It doesn't die.
Yeah, I could attest to that because I used it in Season 1.
And then Ember used it Season 2 to great effect as well.
Yeah. Alright, we're going to move on to the next team. We spent almost like double the time on Reich's team compared to everybody.
It's because we were trying to figure out what could fix up that ghost weakness.
We love you, Reich. You're awesome. Alright.
Just fix up that ghost weakness.
So we're going to move on to the next team. It's the second last team. Arizona Dianciebacks by Sickbid, aka Sick. And
mega defensive.
Yeah, this has a lot of really nice defensive options.
It's so defensive. Like, it does not appreciate not Bolt Beam, because it has literally the best answer to Bolt Beam in the game with Rotom Heat. It does not appreciate Electric Fire And then there's Rotom Heat. Rotom Heat is so good for this team because it has boots, it's got defog, it does so much. Smeargle can be there for webs to help facilitate a Dragon Dance Zygarde sweep. Poopa is just an absolute menace with webs up if it's scarfed, because then I'm pretty sure it outspeeds just about everything that's not Dragapult because of Clear Body. Dragapult's a problem for every team. Steel Wing hits Diancie. Yeah, Diancie got that magic bounce for spikes and all that, and then it threatens out everything that's not a steel type pretty easily. Even then it has earth power, so it can knock out most steel types from 50. Celesteela is like an insane core with Rotom Heat, because Rotom Heat's only resists Celesteela's only weaknesses, and then Volt switches out. Rock types do seem a little strong versus this team. There's only like Virizion and Zygarde who are both hit by ice, so maybe like a rock ice coverage mon would really hurt this team.
I think this team is really nice at handling other stall teams too, or other stall strategies. Like, it forces the other team to try and go offensive, because Celesteela is really nice versus stall, Diancie is really nice versus stall, and Fortress could just take away any hazards. The only thing I think that this team feels like it's missing to me is a cleric. I feel like a bulky wish passer would do wonders for this team. But
and Heal Bell for the Porygon 2 and Virizion and Zygarde and Regice and Rotom, they're all really weak to Toxic.
Yeah, so that's the only thing that I feel this team would really like. But yeah, this team is really awesome. I like this team a lot. Well, we do have a cleric, Smeargle with Wish and Heal.
I think it definitely just wants to set webs.
Yeah, it just wants to set up
Mega Diancie and Zygarde and Rotom.
There's also Toxapex, which is really good at coming in on potential toxics and then just switching out to whatever needs to come in. But yeah, this team has really nice defensive presence, and then it also has just good offensive mons too. Like, Diancie is like defensive and offensive, so there's that. Zygarde can be a nice tank defensively, but then also hits hard offensively. So this team's a nice balanced team. I'd say leaning a little bit more defensive, but still has a lot of good offensive presence and options. And then Regice is a sleeper. Let me tell you, Regice is like, it's so like, it could take anything, and I think that's also another reason why this team would like a cleric so much, because Regice really likes getting heal bells, like being healed of any status it has, and coming in on wishes.
Yeah, Regice is really good with this team, because it's like, okay, well, Zygarde's gonna eat an ice move, not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, this team seems to support Zygarde really well.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main game plan. It's just like facilitate Zygarde sweep. Like, move ice types and then just win.
Yeah. Zygarde's really good on this team as an offensive mon. And then Virizion could be good in coming in on knockoffs to try and take away Eviolite from Porygon 2.
I just realized how bad Virizion's attack stat was. I thought it was a lot higher than 90.
I mean, 90's not terrible, but yeah.
It's subpar. It's not bad, it's not good.
But yeah, this is a really decent team. A lot of people were talking about how scary this team is, so I'm curious to see how this team does. I also love the logo. It's really cool. It's really unique. Alright, we're going to move on to the last one. And this team is the Aero Tuffs, led by Teal Platypus. And we're moving on to Route 11, Autumn. So Platypus is another one of the people who is who's a newcomer in the league, and we've actually known each other for quite a while. Like, Platypus is the person on the server who I've known the longest, and so I'm really excited to see him participate in this. I love the logo. This is my favorite logo of season 1 of Seafoam Isles. It's Wigglytuff and the Jet Setter, which is the worst car in Mario Kart, but it's like a car we really like using. So overall, let's take a look at this team. So, initial thoughts about this team. I think... Oh. Sorry, I think my volume might have, like, turned you off. Anyways, so what do you think about this team?
Are we on Aero Tuffs right now?
Yeah, Aero Tuffs.
I like Wigglytuff car. Yep.
Yeah, Wigglytuff car. Best logo, to be honest.
Florida Steel Ball looks really nice for this team. Defog, Moltres, and Rapid Spin Serena really helps Shedinja, even though Shedinja's not the main thing you're trying to win with, probably. Magic Bounce also really helps. I feel like this team supports Shedinja oddly well, and it's not aiming to support Shedinja mainly.
Well, Moltres too.
Well, Moltres can run boots.
It can, but if you support it well enough, it could run something else even.
Yeah, Crawdaunt, pretty nice, like great offensive core between Tarak and Crawdaunt. Even Venusaur can go really good offensively.
I feel like this team has a little bit of everything. Like, it has a really nice speed, like a speedy Pokemon in Electrode. It has options to deal with Trick Room. I feel like Spiritomb is a nice general anti-Trick Room Pokemon, and it could deal with Trick Room really well. It has a Cleric in Florges. It has Hazard Control in Espeon and Serena. Moltres even can defog if it's holding boots. It has nice offensive presence. I would say that it, like, actually no, it does have special attackers too in Venusaur, Moltres, and Espeon. I'd say it hits a little bit harder on the physical side because Terrakion and Crawdaunt are just so powerful physically. But it also hits specially decently too. Oh, and Nihilego as well.
I was about to say, don't forget Rock Jellyfish.
I always forget Rock Jellyfish, and I feel bad about it.
And then, like, Spiritomb has the best defensive typing in the whole game.
Debatable. I'd say
it has one weakness. That's
Steel...
all. We don't need to get into the debate right now.
Okay, true. But yeah, Spiritomb, really awesome Pokemon. This team has good, like, insurance against sweepers. Like, Crawdaunt, Aquajet can deal with, like, a weakened sweeper, for example. Spiritomb's Sucker Punch can deal with a sweeper.
Yeah. Life Orb sweepers hate this team.
Serena also is nice against, like, priority reliant sweepers. Although Crawdaunt is one of them and it's here, so. But Lanoon shut down again.
Yeah, Lanoon is shut down pretty hard here by Spiritomb as well.
I'm really curious to see how Electrode is used, because I think that it could be used as a screener and then a pivot into Crawdaunt, perhaps.
Baby Voltorb all grown up.
Baby Voltorb here as Electrode. I love Electrode. It's just an awesome Pokemon.
Yeah, it also gets soundproof, so he's like, okay, haha. Sucks to suck, Coma-O. You can't use your Z move here.
It could also paralyze things, which is really nice for this team, especially for Crawdon. I think the name of the game in this team is like supporting Crawdon to deal some massive damage, and Terrakion. Venusaur could come in on problematic Pokemon, especially fighting types that give Terrakion and Crawdon trouble.
Yeah. I'm surprised that there's no fairy on this team.
Florges.
Oh. I didn't see Florges there. Florges doesn't count.
Florges is a very good fairy. I'd say there isn't like super dedicated physical switch into stuff. I mean, I guess Venusaur and Florges actually form a nice little core there.
Probably Spiritomb.
Spiritomb just lacks recovery, but I guess Florges fills in that gap, and Venusaur
supplements
with Leech
that.
Seed.
Same with Sandaconda. Like, did you even look at the defense stat on Sandaconda?
Yeah, true. It is a decently defensive Pokemon. I remember I looked at it earlier.
I feel like it's just like, okay, well, I'm gonna win with my Mega Tier 1 or my Mega Venusaur, Terrakion, or Crawdon. Everything else is just trying to help me win with them. I don't think he's gonna win with. He might, like, on an off week, just try to win with one of those, like something that's not those three. But I feel like every week, at least one of them's gonna be a potential win condition.
Yeah. It's a really good team. I like it. It's very balanced, and it has a lot of options for a variety of situations, which is my favorite way to play. So this is our other league newcomer. Platypus hasn't participated in any leagues before, so I'm really curious to see how he does. He definitely has some cool stuff up his sleeve, I think, so watch out for that.
He got Crawdon when no one else would.
Yeah.
As well as Terrakion.
And most importantly, he has Wigglytuff Car, so...
And Shedinja.
So, like, yeah.
Shedinja can't get hit by the car. It's immune to getting hit by Wigglytuff Car.
This logo originally had... When I was making it, it originally had Mega Rayquaza being run over by the car, but it just looked so out of place. So I didn't do it.
It would have been funny. It would have been like in Plants vs. Zombies when Zombot throws a van and all of the plants just get crushed to like 1 pixel width.
I could probably show the concept for that if anyone's interested. But
the concept art.
Yeah. Alright, well, I think this is our last team.
Yep. Our last team is the Pokédex.
Our last team. So we're going to close off on this lovely collage of all the trainers in the league. And do you have any final thoughts before we end this first impressions video? Overall thoughts?
I don't think there's a single weak team in this league.
I agree. I think every team has such good potential. And I'm really, really excited to see how this goes. I'm really thankful that everybody is participating in this, and I hope that we're able to facilitate a really positive and nice space for everybody to have fun. Just wanted to thank Colin, you, Emberhoof, and Lionhugs for leading this effort. Like, I know I've been like doing a lot of the setup stuff, but I'm gonna be more behind the scenes now as you guys are like taking care of everything. So really happy that I have you guys to help me out. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining, and let's make this a fun, awesome season. It's going to be really interesting.
Good luck.
Indeed. Good luck, everybody. All right. Shall we close out? This is a way longer video than Victory Roads was.
I like drawing things out. It makes them more interesting for the people who want to watch.
Yeah, true. Well, that's the argument for stall. Stall good. That's the note I'll end on. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, it sucks to commentate. It's like, oh, well, there's like 2 stall teams. Like, not hardcore stall. There's no hardcore stall, but there's semi-stall. Like Sickbid and Ember. And that's gonna suck to commentate. Because I'm gonna, like, me and Lionhugs are gonna have to commentate stall.
I'm looking forward to that. I might be a guest commentator on that one then. But
I'm looking forward to the Great Ember War.
Oh yeah, we have 2 Embers now. Although one of them is going by Ray Ninja, so it's fine.
XOT's not going by Ray Ninja on Discord, so it doesn't count.
Okay, true. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys, and good luck in the season. It's going to be a fun one. And this is Noel and Colin, and hope you enjoyed our first impressions.
Yeah. Worked hard.
All right, see ya.
See ya.